Hey everyone, welcome back to another Painting with Jay. As always, my name is Jay. So grab a brush, grab some models, grab some paints, and paint along with me. Let's rid our world of unpainted models. In today's video, I'm actually going to put the finishing touches on those same nights that I was working on a couple weeks ago. I have not had much time to actually paint. I've been working really hard on preparing all my Dark Angel models for my Dark Angel Glow Up project. They're almost ready, and starting next week, I'll be able to use them in my Painting with Jays, which will be great. And I'm going to go pretty gung-ho on them, as you're going to see. But in this video, I'm just going to keep painting and put the finishing touches on those models, as I mentioned. And let's get started on, and just keep talking. Yes. Hey everyone, welcome back. So let's get started. As you can see, they're coming along. This is the guy that I actually had primed last week, or last time I painted. And so he's almost done. I'm going to just do some highlights, finish up some colors today. I figured I had about an hour's left, maybe just under an hour left of painting. So I figured might as well put this into a Painting with Jay. And I apologize for not having new models, but as I said, that problem's going to soon be fixed. I'm going to be loaded with new models soon. So first thing I'm going to start off with is just painting some golds. I'm going to take some Gehenna's gold and start highlighting the golds. I think this guy's actually done. Good. Just a little bit right there. Yeah. And looking really good. Yep, that's all done. This one is done. Perfect. I'm just making sure that all the colors, yeah, this one needs to be done. I'm going to make sure that all the models are painted for every color. But it's been really fun to paint up these guys lately. I've really enjoyed cleaning them up, making them look a lot better. They're going to be painted to probably a slightly higher standard. Yeah. Then I'm painting the rest of my Dark Angel army. They're not going to be. I'm slap chopping them. I'm having fun. Yeah. So you're going to see that. But the benefit of that is I really want to get them on the tabletop. I'm going to see if I'm going to sign up for a tournament in the near future. There's a couple tournaments that are going to happen in the next couple months that I can drive to. One of them I'm going to say no is this weekend coming up. I was invited to one, but my brother's coming to visit me for the first time in a very long time, so I'm not going to go to a 40K tournament when he's coming to visit me. That would be very weird and mean. So that's okay. I'm not unhappy about that at all. Priorities, right? And then there's another one coming up in October that I really want to go to. I'm hoping to go to. I don't remember what weekend it is. One of my favorite indie artists is coming to town then. I hope to go to the tournament. So for the tournament, I haven't decided yet. I'm either going to bring Genestealer Cult, Imperial Knights, or Dark Angels. I haven't decided which one. And so we'll decide closer to the tournament. I'm really kind of thinking, to be honest, Genestealer Cult. I know I'm really working hard on my Dark Angels, but I'd really want to get my Genestealer Cult into a tournament. Yeah. I love just trying out different lists for Genestealer Cults right now, and we'll see. As I said, when I get closer to the date, I'll make the call which army. Imperial Knights, they're fun too. Dark Angels, it'd be really fun to get all these dudes on the tabletop. It would. So, what should I talk about today? I think I should talk about Adepticon. The reason being is signing up for the hotel block went up yesterday, and I was not able to get one in the preferred place, but that's okay. I got one in the secondary hotel, which is where I stayed this year, and it was fun. It was decent. I preferred the main hotel, but the secondary hotel, the shuttles were actually very well done. I was able to go to and from. Also, I walked a bit to get my steps in for the day, and so I didn't mind it. It was good. As I said, I do prefer the main hotel just because then you're in one place. You can walk anywhere you want. But if you have to be a secondary place, yeah, the Hyatt Regency, I think it's called. Yeah, I need more paint. So that'll be cool. but it sold out so quickly. For any of you guys out there in internet land that tried as well, let me know in the comment section down below if you tried as well. I was in the lineup, I was in the queue, couldn't check out fast enough apparently. I was in there at the moment it opened, and by the time I got to the payment, it bounced because the hotel room is no longer available. Happens. Very busy this year. Yeah, very, very busy. 2 minutes, I think it was like 2 minutes, and then it sold out, which is a great sign. That means Adepticon is taking on, continuing to grow, and it's doing well. I'm a little concerned that the venue is not big enough anymore. You know, they need more rooms available, obviously, and they also need to like the parking lot on the Saturday is so filled that no one would ever move their car because they know that they will never get a spot again. You know, and there was not enough room in the parking lot. It's a great sign. That means our hobby is continuing to grow and people are enjoying it. What it also means is that we need a bigger venue for Adepticon because it's growing much faster than the capacity is, which is cool. It's a good problem to have. I prefer that over shrinking any day. Yeah, any day. But it's an interesting problem to have. It is. And Adepticon is by far my favorite convention to go to. I've been to Gen Con a few times too. Gen Con's amazing, but the problem is with Gen Con is it's number one, it's not wargaming focused, it's gaming focused, and so the board gaming and D&D really, it's amazing for if you want to play board games, but miniature wargaming is just such a tiny component of it that it doesn't stand up, right? It just gets kind of lost in the flood, I find, and there's so many people, you know. Adepticon has like a 10th of Gen Con or something like that. It's pretty crazy. So, but I love Adepticon. I love Gen Con is fun too, but Adepticon is definitely my favorite convention, and I love it. So I can't wait to go back. I've already booked my hotel room, and I am going to book my flight soon. My local airport is not the most reliable, so I'm trying to figure out if it's better to fly out of my local airport for a more, if it goes through, it's just easier because I only have to, drive for like, 10 minutes and I can fly out. Or is it better to, drive an hour and a half to the next closest airport? There's a couple of airports about an hour and a half away. And so then that way they're more reliable, and if I get canceled, there's a chance I can get on another flight. That's my biggest concern, is that with my local airport, there's only really like 2 flights a day, and I'd be taking the second flight. So if my flight gets canceled, I'm done, and I don't get to go to Adepticon, which really would suck, right? So I haven't figured that one out yet. I should vlog it next year. My vlog might be Jay gets stuck at airport. Film at 11. Yeah. So I like this little dude. I always forget to paint him. So yeah, Adepticon. It always has a spot in my heart. And so, obviously, I was there in 2019. I had a great time. I was living in Ontario. And, of course, I signed up to go in 2020. I had the preferred hotel block and everything. And just before the convention, obviously, it was canceled. I'll grab some next gold, and I'll go to the next color. So it was canceled, obviously, because due to COVID, right? 2020, canceled. 2021, canceled. 2022 actually happened, and I didn't go. The reason being is at the time, there were really tough border rules to get back into Canada, and when most people had to make the decision whether or not to go to Adepticon, at that point, there wasn't a guarantee that we'd be able to get back into the country easily. Like, there were testing procedures and all that stuff, and we just didn't know. A lot of us didn't know if we could be able to get back into Canada, which kind of made it a little too risky. And so I didn't go. I decided at that point, since there weren't any guarantees that I can get back in the country, I was going to say no. And so I canceled. I actually had a hotel booked I had the B hotel that year, so I didn't have the A hotel, and I canceled my trip. Whatever. And so cancel my trip. I didn't go. But it happened. It actually did happen. And I heard from many people it was cool, but it was very quiet, like a ghost town. A lot of people felt it was, it had a lot of vendors, but just didn't feel the same because the feeling at the time and stuff, and that it wasn't, it was just quiet, which is weird. You go through all these years of growth, then all of a sudden it, cuts down. It feels weird. So I didn't go, and but then this year, of course, I went. In 2023, I flew down. I did fly out of the farther airport because I actually couldn't get a flight from the closer airport, which is good because then I ended up, being able to come back. No problems. It wasn't canceled. And so it was a great time. Again, people were saying that it was nice to be really busy again. I had a great time. I don't fly a lot. I don't fly very often. I've only flown less than I think 4 or 5 times in my life. And it was cool. I flew by myself. And I've never flown within Canada, so I had to fly to Toronto first. No, not Toronto. The other flight was from Toronto. I flew to Montreal first, and then from Montreal I flew to Chicago, which was cool. And I took business class, which was, on these flights, is barely an upgrade, but I'm glad I did. On a business class just for a little more legroom. I knew the flights I was taking are smaller planes, and I'm really glad I took business class. I'm 6'3", so it's just nice and more convenient, really. Need be able to take it just normal, but I'm really glad I just had a little extra leg room, and it helped just keep me comfortable on the flights. I flew, and then I took an Uber. It's the first time I'm driven. I used to live so close, not so close, but 10 hours away, so I used to drive. Now I'd be a day, so I took an Uber. It was my first time ever taking an Uber. I feel like I'm such a small town. It's just funny. The town I live in now is only 20,000 people, and it's considered a big town. So there's no Ubers where I live, and there's no Uber Eats either. There's a couple Skip the Dishes or something like that for a couple restaurants, but it's not much. So no. So definitely no Uber. And so I took an Uber, which was cool. I stayed at that hotel. And then, of course, I couldn't really drive anywhere, so I tried Uber Eats, which my American friends and my Canadian friends in busier cities, wow, I am jealous of Uber Eats. I felt like I gained 20 pounds on that trip because I was literally Uber eating everything, and I was just ordering hilariously amounts of crazy food that I don't, all the American restaurants and the American fast food joints, and it was good. I felt afterwards, but whatever. My favorite thing was what was it called? Krispy Kreme donuts. I ordered Krispy Kreme donuts and had them delivered. I tried to stay on Eastern time, so that way I didn't have to mess with my time zones. So I was waking up on Eastern time, going to bed on Eastern time, and not Eastern time, sorry, Atlantic time. And of course, Chicago's in Central time, so it's a 2-hour time zone difference. So I was up early. I was up at 5:30 a.m. every day while I was there. So because to me it felt like 7:30. I'm usually 2 hours ahead. So at 6 o'clock in the morning, I had Krispy Kreme donuts, Uber Eated, or whatever, delivered to the hotel. It was amazing. Wow, are they sugary? But they're awesome. That was definitely crazy. And something that of course I got back to where I live now, and I can't do anything close to that. Yeah. But that was fun. And it was really it was incredible just to be able to catch up with people. To hear their stories. Number one, I really miss the community. I really miss the community. It's what I miss the most about this hobby, was when I didn't get to be a part of the community as much. And it was always really nice to catch up with the same people at Adepticon, like Tom and Mikey and Ken from Badger. Yeah, and the Miniwargaming guys and the crew from, from Death Ray Designs, and Brian and Dave and Matt and Matt and Matt and Matt and Dave and Matt and Dave. I feel like every third person I know at Adepticon's named Dave or Matt. That's kind of cool. And of course, Matt and Dave from Miniwargaming, they were there too. Of course, this year they weren't actually there for Miniwargaming business. It was really cool just to see them. Dave was there. Sorry, Dave was there promoting his model line and game. I don't know if it's a game. The model line with the PVC. They look really cool. Very chaosy. And Dave and Matt was just there playing games with his son, doing a couple tournaments and playing together in some team stuff, which was really, really cool to see. I'm happy with that. Because Dave and I don't feel like Dave and Matt actually play a lot of games, and it was really, really nice seeing Matt, instead of taking this opportunity for the business, he just went with his son and had an amazing time, and it was cool to see another generation of Wargamer. The next Matt's kid is now into wargaming. Very cool. Very, very cool. And of course, I caught up with Dave and Matt. We had a long talk, and it was just really nice. I am still on, for those of you who are wondering, I am still on very good terms with Matt and Dave. I didn't quit on bad terms or anything. I'm one of the few people from Miniwargaming to not end on shouldn't go into too much detail like that, but I am one of the few ending on really good terms. And there's a reason for that, Matt. I didn't quit out of rage. I moved for my ex-wife's job, and I gave them plenty of notice, and they knew that when it was going on, right? And I worked very hard, and I respected them as bosses. And I wished them nothing but well in life, and they wished me nothing but well in life. So it's really cool. So that when we go to these conventions, we actually catch up. And I caught up with Mike, Epic Duck Mike. We sat down for a while. I always love just chilling with the Death Ray Designs people. They got me a custom jersey, which was really cool. It's a J on it. They're hockey jerseys. And it's just really nice. And Adam, and so many people. It was just really nice to catch up with a lot of people. There we go. Look at that. Another goal done. I'm just going to wash this off. One more gold. It'll be nice. After this painting video, they should be done. They'll have the eyes left or some small details, but they'll be minutes away, and then I can put them on the tabletop. One squad done. Which they were basically done originally, so I haven't painted any new models in this project. But still, I'm considering this as part of my glow up. I really do like these models in this edition, and I can't wait to have them. Yeah. All painted nicely. Knights are really good in this edition. They're fun. They hit hard. So. But it was really cool to catch up with everyone and hear their stories. Oh, Adam? Really, Adam? You missed a spot. Yep, right there. Yeah, you missed a spot. No problem. It's good to be able to, apparently since I've come back, Adam has missed significantly less spots, which is good. It's been a service to the community. Good job, Adam. And it was good catching up with just people and hearing their stories of what's been going on. Like it flew by. It really flew by. And it's one of those crazy scenarios, right? Again, I was there in 2019. And then I didn't go in 2020, didn't go in 2021, didn't go in 2022, but I went in 2023. So it was 4 years since I last saw any of these people. And hopefully I mentioned Tom. I saw Tom as well. You know who you are, Tom. And so I didn't see any of these people. And so it was just really crazy. Like 4 years should be a lot of time. Sorry, I'm just shaking some paint right now. Some Ironbreaker. 4 years is a lot of time. And it should be filled with a lot of time. But it's kind of weird how when you're catching up with friends, you can kind of just simplify your life, you know? Break it down to a few sentences and say, you know, what's new and exciting? Oh, this. Awesome. Anything else? Not really. Like, what? You know, it's just one of those weird scenarios where that's way too big of a brush. I need a smaller brush. So it was like, hey, what's happened in the last 4 years? And you talk to people, and it like you can sum up your lives in like 3 sentences. But then it's like, oh, cool, and then you're kind of back to caught up, and life's good, right? Oh, drop my. And it's so weird how quickly you can catch up with people. Like for me, I talked about my move, how I got COVID, last year, and I caught up with some people, and it was unfortunate. Some news was good. Some news was good. Some news was bad, unfortunately. Yeah, that happened a bit. I am amazing at putting my foot in my mouth. I have giant feet. For those who know me, I have men's 16, depending which company. I'm a 15.5 to 16 shoe size. And I'm amazing at putting my feet in my mouth. I will admit it. I can say the wrong thing at the wrong time at any moment. And my favorite thing was, it happened a lot, was I do try to remember, like I do love to get to know my friends and my colleagues and remember details about them. And I remembered their spouses' names, and I was like, oh, how's the spouse doing? We're divorced. Oh, crap. There's that conversation, right? And then I'd go to the next person, like, oh, yeah, how's your spouse doing? Oh, we're divorced. Oh, that's good, yeah. And most of them have moved on and they're happy and everything. A couple of them weren't. I had one of my colleagues, I'm not going to mention specific names or anything because privacy and stuff, but they got married just after the last Adepticon that I saw the person, and they were divorced already. And I was like, oh no, I know that feeling, but still, it sucks, right? I'm just constantly putting my foot in my mouth. Just being like, hey, how's your spouse? Oh, we're broken up. And I did realize how many relationships kind of ended during COVID. It's crazy. Like, a lot of the relationships were ended. And I found that a lot of people said the same thing. Like, we ended up putting our relationships under a magnifying glass or each other, and we realized it was not what we wanted, or maybe it was additional stress. But I noticed that a lot of relationships were affected by COVID. Yeah, it was crazy. And I don't think COVID is the main culprit. But what it did do is it put a lot of relationships under the magnifying glass, and people didn't like what they saw, I guess. And things like that. I'm still together. For those who are wondering, I'm still together with my same spouse as before, which is good. We've survived COVID, I guess. Our relationship was stronger than COVID, but this guy is done already. Yep, good. What I like to do with these highlights is just work my way backwards through the models. Just one color at a time. Alright, so I need to do some reds next. Yeah, let's do reds and then greens. And that'll be pretty much it. Awesome. So before then, I did miss some spots like Adam. So I'm going to go back and put some contrast red on this. I am really liking the way that these models look at the moment. They look quite good. So I'm happy with that. They look way better than they did before. And that's what matters. As long as they're improving. good. Cool. Good. Yeah, but I was thankful that I you know, that my relationship survived COVID. And it was just crazy. Like, again, just hear how people's lives were turned upside down. And the goods and the bads that happened over the last 4 years. You know, and to me, 4 years is a lot of time. Like, it's a whole university degree or, I don't know, 2 college diplomas. And it, you know, some of my colleagues and my friends adopted people. They got married. Adopted kids, I mean. Got married. Divorced. It's crazy. Crazy for sure. But it was just really cool to be able to see everyone and to catch up. And I left going, I have to come back. You know, regardless of this and how, like, obviously it's a lot more time to get there, or I fly. A little more of a hassle. You know, I do find, because I prefer driving because I can just hop in the car and drive. Versus, you know, flights, which are a lot less predictable. And yeah. I prefer to drive. That's okay. I said I have to come back. And that's why I definitely, you know, definitely had to come back. So I look forward to it. 2024, I'll be there again. As always, I just mostly chill at the booth. The Badger booth. I don't get paid or anything. I just love chilling with Ken, catching up with him, see how his family's doing, helping him sell our brushes. It's also a nice thing that I can, it does help, because actually most people know to look for me there. They always go to, everyone, the Badger booth is located in a really good location. It's right in front of the hall. So the people will walk by the hall, they'll see me. They know where I am. I'm there. Yeah. Every time you hear that sound, it means the Jays game score changed, and that was not a good one for the Jays. Yeah. Cool. What next? Reds. Let's do bright reds. I can easily do it over that. I'm using a wet palette today, and I love my wet palette. I just need to find my lemon medium. Thin it down a little bit. Do some highlights on the red, and then we'll go from there. There we go. Perfect. So let's do some quick highlights on the red sections, and then I'll highlight the greens. And that's pretty much it for this guy. Oh, I missed a handle on one of them. That's okay. I'll go back. These handles, just a quick highlight on them. Good. Look at that. He's coming along well. Awesome. Look at this. I'm happy with these guys. I gotta paint their eyes in after. But they're almost done. This is definitely the last video with these dudes, and then they'll be ready for the tabletop. What else? Yeah, it was really cool because they're catching up with Ken, selling airbrushes. I didn't play any games because I couldn't bring any models. I don't think I'm going to bring any this time either. I just always fear that they're going to get broken in transit. And also now that I'm not at the hotel, the main hotel, just unfortunate because then I have to lug them around. We'll see. I really don't want to catch another game with Mikey, as I normally used to do. It was really fun. I definitely missed that for sure. What else? I've been going to concerts. I took my wife to the Cavendish Music Festival, which is in Nova Scotia. It was a really cool country music festival. Her favorite artist was playing Chris Stapleton. He was playing this year. He was awesome. He was I've seen Chris Stapleton before. He's a really great artist. He played a slightly shortened set, of course, because it was a festival, and he had to play a pretty quick set because he started a little late and they had a time limit, and they couldn't play past a certain time. So he just didn't talk. It was really weird. He just he said at the beginning he wasn't going to talk very much. He did stop his concerts though a few times because people were like passing out or fainting due to drunkenness or sunstroke, heat stroke. So that was weird. He was able to see them. It was trippy. But yeah, it was really good. I'd love to see Chris Stapleton a third time. Yeah, it was really busy. The whole island. This is in it's in Cavendish, PEI, not Nova Scotia. Why did I say Cavendish, Nova Scotia? I apologize if I said Cavendish, Nova Scotia. It's in Cavendish, PEI. My Canadian visitors might have just had a double take for a moment. It's in PEI, which is a small island province. Yeah. And to get from New Brunswick to PEI, you have to take a bridge that's like 15 kilometers long. It's really cool. Fun to drive on. It's trippy. And then, so the only thing is to get back, it's like $50. You have to pay a toll to get back. So they get you on the island and they're like, haha, no, you have to pay us to get back. It's a good, fun little trick to prank the tourists. But it was great. We stayed there for a few days and caught a lot of bands. For the country artists, country music lovers in my audience here, Kane Brown played on the first night. He was the closer for the first night. The second night was Jake Owen, Barefoot Blue Jean night, kind of, yeah. He was good. And then Chris Stapleton was the closer in night 3. And they all were awesome. They were really good. There we go. Reds are done. Next, I'll just do the highlight of the greens. And then I might even call it a night. They're going to be basically done. Where are we at? 33 minutes. Okay. Not a very long painting with Jay. Maybe then I'll start dry brushing some guys. Yeah. Work on my... Just gotta really clean this off. I might have just ruined my dry brush. Oh, okay, we'll be okay. So greens. Let's get some green. Just my brush here. And I'm gonna highlight the greens. And maybe I'll start dry brushing, which the guys I'm working on for my project Glow Up. I've actually primed them a couple colors already. I'll be making an update video, of course, on these in the near future. But I just need to now highlight, I'm going to do a quick dry brush on them of some Wraithbone. And that way it'll really make the edges pop. So that way when I do the next step, which is using the glazing, of course, I'm using the contrast paints, it'll really make the edges pop. And let me just make a mid-tone highlight. So for this I'm just using like a 1-1 mix of moot green and Orpstone Glow. Just create a mid-tone, like a semi-mid-tone, so it's in between my usual mid-tone and my highlight. And that way I can just do one color and it'll really pop. There we go. Thin it down with some Lamy Medium. Life's good. And then yeah, I should do I should take a few minutes and do some dry brushing for a few minutes, because yeah, I think this is not enough time. People like the painting with J's because they're so long. I do too. It forces me to paint. I just love sitting down and painting for a few minutes. I think I just ruined my wet palette. Oops. Yeah, just paint right through it. That's okay. So I'm going to do some quick, way too heavy. Just some quick highlights. That was way too quick. Let me make some details pop. Of course it'll dry darker, so it's not too bad. That just to get some detail, especially a model like this one, which is just, it's a little boring. Quick edge highlight, just to bring some of these, this nice texture to life. Cool, look at that. Yeah, the music festival was really fun. Good to see people. It was really hot. It's like the hottest days of the summer. Where I live in Atlantic, Canada, the days aren't very hot. It's kind of milder temperatures because we're near the ocean, which is beautiful. But yeah, it was like the hottest day of the year when we were there. So a lot of people were getting heat stroke. You know, a lot of drunk youngins, like teenagers and people in their 20s, you know, were drinking pretty heavily. Let's just say that. They were definitely enjoying their alcoholic beverages. Well, I do really hope life has been good to all y'all out there in internet land in the last few years. You know, I'm glad. Thank you, by the way, as always, for joining me on my painting journeys. And I know that a lot of you just kind of turn on this video and just paint with me in the background, which is just really cool. You know, we're painting together. We're reading a world of unpainted models. To be honest, I actually was getting pretty close to the end of my unpainted models before I went crazy and bought 50 new Space Marine models and what else did I buy this year? 50 new Space Marine models for this glow up, and of course that came with a Tyranid starter set, with the army, you know, the game starter set. So 50 more Tyranids as well. So that's 100 models right there. And what else did I buy? I bought just the orc boarding patrol set because I really wanted the Skarsnik model. Not Skarsnik. What's the Commandos models? Which has since come out on its own, but it also came with 10 more Commandos. So now I have 30 Commandos that I need to paint up. Which will be fun. I'll be painting them up in the near future too. But of course I want to get the there we go. Whoop. Cool. I want to get all these guys done first, and then I'll probably paint Tyranids next. Yeah, probably Tyranids, because I can batch paint them, because it's just one color scheme, of course, for the entire army, minus some other details, so that won't be very hard. And then, yeah, they're not too hard of an army to paint up. I can definitely paint them up in a decent amount of time. I'm not going to be slap chopping them in the same way, but I'll be just painting my normal Tyranid painting method, which is cool. Won't take very long. Should be taking a couple months to paint up the 50 models there, which is unfortunate because if I paint up those 50 models and I paint up all these guys, I'm still just finishing the year like neutral because I bought them all, right? I didn't painting this guy, painting all these Space Marines doesn't decrease my overall number for the year because doesn't decrease my gray model count net for the year because I bought them as well. To truly, to kill your unpainted model count, you have to stop buying models, which I did for a long time, and also paint them. So I broke one of the rules. But that's okay. But they're all that's my goal, and that's why I want to have these guys painted this year. And I want to have these guys for sure painted by the end of the year, and then maybe if in an ideal world, I'll have the Space Marines, so all the Dark Angels and the Tyranids painted up by the end of the year. It might be a little too ambitious, but that'd be good. And then that way, at least I finish kind of neutral. I did paint a bunch of Dark Angels earlier this year, and so that way at least I'll finish the year slightly negative, by 5 models net. I'll have 5 less models at the end of the year than I did at the beginning of the year, but that did mean I painted a bunch. That'd be funny. It's very green. Whatever. It's all good. Then I'm pretty much done. I'll do the eyes after. To be honest, I have to hold them pretty close to me. That's not going to look too good. Whatever. I'm going to clean up after it dries. I'll do a second upblend a little. Just to really bring these edges to life. There we go. So I would definitely go back to Cavendish PEI. There's another country music festival in New Brunswick called YQM, which is cool. Maybe that one for next year. There we go. Perfect. So they're basically done. I'm just going to clean up one part left, and then they're done. I'm going to do the eyes a little later. As I drop my paintbrush into my palette. Cool. Look at that. They're done. I'm very happy with them overall. I'm just going to grab a little more silver. I missed an eye. And then, yeah, what are we at right now? 43 minutes, so 45 minutes including intro and outro. It's not bad for painting with Jay, but I can do a little more. Let's start. Oh, let me clean up the skin tone for that guy as well. A little bit of skin tones, and then we'll call it a day. I'm just going to get medium tone, fair skin. Perfect. And let's just do a little skin. Perfect. That's exactly the tone I was going for Fair Skin by Reaper. Awesome. Awesome possum. Also, huge shout out to Cody Roo. I don't think I did a shout out yet to Cody Roo. Shout out to Cody Roo. Cody Roo's awesome. Can't wait to catch up with him one day. Hope to see Cody Roo again one day. Haven't seen him in a while. Just because when he comes to Ontario, I'm not there anymore. Look at that. Cool. I'd say they're done. Let's call them done. So now I'm going to take some, let's have some fun. I'm going to switch it up for now, put my palette away. I'm going to start dry brushing, just some dry brushing in general on the 50 plus models that I have. I've done two, I've done a couple, which dry brush I use? That one. That's a pretty big dry brush. Maybe this one. I'll try this one for now. See how it goes. So I have a couple of dry brushes here. That one might be good. It's a small one. So I'm just going to dry brush a bunch of models while we're talking here. And start doing some detail on them. Let's see here. These guys. Just to pick up some details. It's going to take me a while anyway. And grab some Wraithbone. There we are. So once again, as always, just wipe off the excess. And let's start just bringing up some of the details of these models. And that way when I start doing the base coats using contrast paints, they're going to be looking good. So again, for this part, I'm just going to bring up some details. As you can see, what I did was for them was I did a base coat of black, of course, and then I hit it with a 45-degree angle of a light gray. Now I'm just going to pick up some details with Wraithbone. Then I'm actually just going to use an airbrush and start hitting it with the base coat colors. So I'm going to airbrush most of the models, the Dark Angels green from contrast, and I'm going to be a bit aggressive with my dry brush, pick up some details, make them really pop, and then I'll paint most of the Dark Angels, Dark Angels green, and use the Skeleton Horde for the, here we go, the Skeleton Horde for the rest of them, well, the Terminators. So right now I'm just trying to pick up some edges. For the skin, I'm going to paint, I base coat it with the Wraithbone as well. Once again, just pick up on the raised surfaces, the edges, trying to give it a little bit of pop so that way when I do the next color, it all really pops. Here we go. Easy. It's a fun step, actually. I have like 50 models to do this with, so this is going to be a busy step for the next couple. It's going to take a couple hours, I'm guessing. Total. It could be a pain with Jane itself just to simply dry brush. Adepticon, country music, and dry brushing. That's what I might call this video. This is a lieutenant. I built him with a fist because I just thought it'd be cool. I have a lieutenant with a fist. And he's cool. I don't know if I'll ever use him. I'm not. Leave comments in the comment section down below. How many people here play Space Marines and actually use their lieutenants and captains? The captain has an occasional purpose. I just don't, like, in a limited you know, in a 2,000 point game, I just don't have much use for the lieutenant, just because I have, you know, so many characters already in that have some great synergy. I love the sound of the dry brush. There we go. Is it? They're going to be really just bring out some of the edges. And next, when I hit it with the greens, but I'm going to be airbrushing the next color, and that way it'll really even save me more time. There we go. It's going to save a whole lot of time. Again, because I'm doing this fast, I've loved, honestly, I don't know how I'd make it, but I'd love to do like a review video 4 years later of the impact that contrast paints have made on my painting. I really love them. I really do. They're not perfect, obviously. They have their role. And they can be messy. They destroy brushes. But man, I love the paints. I love them. They just save so much time. They're fun. They're so much fun. They make painting just more fun. And that, to me, is worth it alone. The fact that they make painting more fun, right? They make painting fun. The slap chop method, as it's been known, I guess is for characterized, it's just glazing, right? It's building an undercoat of, you know, of highlights, zenithal, which has existed forever, but then glazing over it. But I love the name slap chop. It's been coined that way, obviously, and it is really taken off. Each of us have their own technique. What is the preferred method of, you know, slap chopping, quote unquote. But it's such a great time saver. And again, you can paint an army so much quicker than before. You know, one coat to do your base coat and wash at the same time, basically, which is great. Saves time. You can basically stop there. I like to go one highlight, and what I do for my highlight is I use like a tone that's in between my normal. I always use two highlights, right? My first tone and my highlight tone, my mid tone and my highlight tone. And what I like to do now is just simply mix them, 50-50 mix, and that way I can get an intermediate tone from there, and I just do that as the highlight tone, and it really works. It makes it really pop, stands out to me. You know, looks great. But yeah, I miss the community. That's what I'm saying too. The downside is I really should join the community here, go to more tournaments, be more vocal. I just haven't had the time, unfortunately. Lately, I've been really busy. You know, life gets in the way, but it's summertime as well. Yeah. I can't wait to go to my first tournaments in this area with this edition. That'll be fun. I said, maybe if I have them all done, maybe I'll bring these guys. Otherwise, I'll bring Gene Stealer Cult, and then bring these guys the next time. For tournaments, I really don't care about winning, to be honest. I like to bring a competitive force, but I don't care about winning the tournament. I usually like to win best sport and have a great time and enjoy life. You know, it's more than winning for me. I don't get paid to win. I don't. You know, a lot of tournaments I used to go to, the prizes are random or draw prizes, so it doesn't matter about winning. It's just good to have a good time. You know, I've won best painted a couple times, which won't happen with this army, of course, but even still, I'm going to make sure that they're good, that they are worthy of the tabletop. And that way, when we're playing, there's no debate. And obviously, it's just a tabletop army that No one would question. Have a great time. Also, as you guys know, painted armies roll better. One more. There we go. I just really want to exaggerate this dry brush. Make it really exaggerated in that way that the contrast paints will really work well with this. It's one of the new Terminators. I love them. The new Terminator with the assault cannon. Looks really awesome. I love painting this step because it's when painting using grays, it throws you off. Like I feel like I'm painting black and white. You know, it's fun with the shades, and then as you hit them with the contrast colors, and they just come to life. I'll be wasting a lot of paint today, dry brushing this. This is okay. Well, then again, as I have 50 of these guys. This is just, what is this? No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is about a sixth of it. Not bad. Of course, I don't usually talk to myself as I paint these, but that's okay. It's cathartic. It's like, I don't need to pay for psychiatry. This is my psychiatry. Very cathartic and healing. Excellent. So, we're at 57 minutes. We're about an hour. I'm going to stop now because it's going to take a little while to render this video, and my battery's about to die on my camera. But that's it. I finished those 5 models, so they're going to go on the 6 models, so they're going to go on the tabletop soon. And I am well on my way now to dry brush 50 models for my next project. Awesome. Let's end now. So that concludes another Painting with Jay. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day and painting along with me. I hope your painting projects are doing well, that you survived COVID and so did your relationships, and that life's going well. And I really do hope that I'm going to see a lot of you again at Adepticon 2024. Stay tuned for more videos. Next time I will be painting, my goal is to have all these dry brushes done in the next couple days, so then I'll start painting them next week's Painting with Jay. We'll start with the painting projects of my glow up and go from there. It's going to be a fun project. Probably I bet I have at least 8 more Painting with Jays of these guys alone. Cool. We're going to keep doing content. Let's rid our world of unpainted models. As always, just a huge thank you, and let me just change that as well. Perfect. Sorry. Just a huge thank you for all you guys for painting along with me. I really do hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for more Painting with Jay. Until next time, this is Jay saying happy painting with me.